Okay, so this time we'll talk about part 6, preparation. Again, this is a series of videos that we are preparing to help our teachers with their COT PPST demonstration. Today, we're going to talk about Objective 6. Objective 6 is all about maintaining learning environments that promote fairness, respect, and care to encourage learning. So let's also take note that this is part of the first grading and the third grading COT demonstration that you have to do as per DepEd Memorandum Series of 2023. As you can see here, objective classroom observation indicator, which is observable inside the classroom, is for classroom observation indicator number 1, 2, and 3 will repeat from first grading to fourth grading. But for classroom observation indicator number 6, it will only be done for first grading and third grading. So this is Strand 2.2.2. Okay, so what is classroom observation indicator number 6? Now, let's try to define first the term so that we'll be able to understand the indicators clearly. So when you say fairness, it means impartial and just treatment or behavior. It means that you have the ability to ensure that you have fair treatment all across your learners. So what is the opposite of this? It could be favoritism or not taking into consideration the differences of your learners. You also ensure that there is respect. So what is respect? Respect is due regard to the feelings, rights, and culture of others. So this is where taking into consideration the differences of our learners comes in. It's important for us to, as a teacher, to understand the context of every learner, see their differences, and try to adjust our instruction based on their differences. Now, what is care? Care is attention or consideration to others, meaning you care because you listen, you care because you try to understand your learners, and you care because you wanted them to really learn in your class and take into consideration their differences. What is sum? Sum is less than half. So if it's 45%, 49%, that is sum. So majority is more than half. So majority of the learners, meaning 50% up. And most is almost all, that is approaching 100%. So that is what is most. And then rarely here means learner-teacher interactions are minimally acceptable. Then occasionally means that the learner-teacher interactions are moderately acceptable. And for generally, learner-teacher interactions are mostly acceptable. And consistently here is that the learner-teacher interactions are highly acceptable. So as you can see here, what is required really in this objective is that there is an interaction between the teacher and the learner. And as you, as the observer, you try to see how you would describe this learner-teacher interaction. Is it with fairness? Is there an impartial and just treatment of behavior? Is there respect? Respect as defined here is due regard to the feelings and rights and culture of others. So how do we achieve the highest level? So let's try to see the transition from the score of 3 to 7. So as you can see here, 3, this is the lowest. The teacher-learner interactions occasionally support fairness. So there is, here we see the word occasionally. So if you visit the word occasionally here, it means that the learner-teacher interactions are moderately acceptable. This is 3. This is the lowest. Respect and care, which results to some of the learners feeling accepted and encouraged to learn. So there are some, less than 50% of them feel that they are accepted and encouraged, but the other half may not feel that way. So what is the features of practice for 3? As we can see here, the teacher encourages social positive interactions with learners. There is already an encouragement among the learners, but occasional inconsistencies like favoritism or disregard for learners' differences are evident. So as we can see here, the lowest is that there are sometimes, there are occasional favoritism, manifestation of favoritism or disregard of learners' differences. So here, I'm just like to emphasize this to our teachers that you have to really do your profiling. You have to show to the demonstrator that you understand the differences among the learners. You take into consideration, profiling is very important. So if you can manifest that in your lesson plan, by the way, we'll be sharing a lesson plan later on if we're done with all the objectives to help our teachers really do their demonstration properly. You have to do a detailed lesson plan for your demonstration. So stay tuned in this channel so that you'll be able to download this sample lesson plan. We are currently developing it so that we will be able to prepare, and in compliance to DepEd Order 42, Series of 2016, which is the guidelines for how to prepare a detailed lesson plan. So a detailed lesson plan will actually help you communicate to the observer and the rater that you have done the nitty-gritty part of profiling your learners, so that the observer will be able to know that you have taken into consideration their individual differences. Now, if there are manifestations of favoritism, you have to really grade the teacher 3. Next is 4, no? The next higher level. So the level 4 here, the teacher-learner interactions are generally fair, respectful, and caring. So the overall environment here is fair, respectful, and caring, and the majority of the learners feel accepted and encouraged to learn. So as you can see, this is more than 50% of them feel that they are accepted and they are encouraged to learn. So what is the feature practice for 4? You will see that the teacher promotes general positive interactions with learners and among learners, but some conflict or occasional insensitivity are displayed. So as contrasted with 3, you see that there are occasional inconsistencies, but some conflict or occasional insensitivity are displayed. So almost approaching 100%, but not really 100%. No, there is still a manifestation of occasional insensitivity, and there are some conflicts sometimes. In the next higher level, or level 5, the teacher-learner interactions are consistently fair, respectful, and caring. And most learners feel accepted and encouraged to learn. So as you can see here, almost 100% already of the learners are, only just a few or occasional, no? Only a few of the learners feel that they are not accepted or encouraged. And here, the features of practice, the teacher maintains polite and respectful interaction with learners and among the learners. There's just a few of them, no? So most of them, approaching majority, for number 4, it's just 50% up. But for 5, as in most of them, approaching 100%, really has already they feel accepted and encouraged to learn. In 6, the teacher-learner interactions are consistently fair, respectful, and caring, and all learners feel accepted and encouraged to learn. So here, we see that in level 6, the interactions are already consistently fair and respectful. Again, let's look at the 2 dimensions. No, first is being fair. No, so it's all about avoiding favoritism. Number 2 is that, are you taking into consideration the differences of the learners? So that is what caring is defined, under the PPST. And all learners feel accepted and encouraged to learn. No? So the teacher establishes positive social interactions with learners and among learners. Disagreements, if present, are handled respectfully. So here, this is already 100%. Everyone feels accepted. Everyone is encouraged to learn. But what makes 6 different from 7? No, let's try to see. Here in 7, the teacher promotes a supportive and nurturing learning environment where all learners feel accepted, encouraged to learn, and free to take learning risks. I remember our teacher in law school asked us if we're going to apply the totality of conduct doctrine in the classroom. No, so just to give you a background, the totality of conduct doctrine means that it is basically taking into consideration the total conduct of the employer so as to constitute the overall violation of a particular law. So you take into consideration everything that the person has done, and you try to decide whether that person is really guilty of that particular crime or that action. So basically, if we're going to apply that to our learners, I was asked that question, and I really answered no. No. It's because in the basic education, we allow learners to make mistakes. No, we don't take it against them if we make mistakes inside the classroom. So are we also going to create that environment? So basically, in 7, the teacher here creates an environment, a supportive and nurturing learning environment. It's more than just being consistently fair and caring. Instead, you create that environment that people, our learners, are not afraid to make mistakes. They are open and they know how to interact with each other without hurting each other. They already has maintained that culture of respect for each other's opinion. But one thing I can say, for level 7, you cannot really grade the teacher 7 if there's no interaction. If it's only the teacher who is always talking, you cannot grade the teacher 7 basically, because there will be no manifestation of this indicator anymore. So let's take closely the features of practice. Look closely on the features of practice for level 7. Here, the teacher enhances polite and respectful interactions, meaning if they're going to have a debate and they're going to have different ideas, how are you going to respectfully and politely interact with your classmates? with learners and among learners, and exhibit sensitivity to learners' differences. So here, it's important that a teacher will be able to create that environment wherein everyone is not afraid to make mistakes. Everyone is not afraid to share their thoughts, to make mistakes, or even two things are being manifested. Number one is the respect for each other, the ability to take into consideration the differences of the learners, and number two is that they'll be able to there will be no favoritism among them. And the teacher really promotes the supportive and nurturing learning environment wherein all learners feel accepted, encouraged to learn, and free to take learning risks. So basically, that's indicator 6. And I would just like to suggest that if you wanted to really get high grades on this, number one, there should be an interaction among the learners, the teacher and learner interaction. You should be fair in calling your learners, meaning everyone should have given equal opportunity to interact. If you can randomly call your learners without any favoritism, that's very good. Number two, you show to the observer that, number three, you show to your observer that you have taken into consideration their differences, and the basis for their groupings is in due consideration to their differences, and you made sure that you understand how each of the learner should be given the opportunity to learn. For instance, you can do differentiated assignments or different means to assess learners' progress, taking into consideration their interests, their means of expression. It could be that this group will love singing, so this is how they will express their learning. There could be people who are very good at speaking, so they will actually express it through oral recitations or by making a speech, or there could be learners who will be given the opportunity to share their learning through writing, if that is something that is most comfortable for these learners. So in short, in indicator 6, you have to ensure that all learners are given fairness. There is fairness inside the classroom. There is respect and care. In order, what is the endpoint? The endpoint is to encourage learning. So what makes 7 different is that there is learning, you are encouraging learning, and you are creating that environment that is supportive and nurturing. So I hope you have learned something for today for indicator 6. If you look at all our discussions, everything now is ready to help you with your first grading COT demonstration. I hope you have already scheduled with your school head. Because if you haven't scheduled, we are already in the second week now. So third week, we're starting with the third week. So if you haven't scheduled, you only have basically 8 weeks, 6 weeks left in order for you to have your demonstration. Remember, as per DepEd Memorandum 8, you have to schedule it within the grading period unless there is a fortuitous event that may happen. That's the only time you are allowed, and it should be with the permission of the school's division superintendent. So please let us follow and do our best to schedule as soon as possible so that it won't be very stressful and you will be prepared to do your demonstration very well. And congratulations ahead of time for your demonstration. I hope this channel has helped you. If we have helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That will greatly help our channel here. And if there are things that we can help you, please comment in terms of what possible videos or possible tutorials we can do in order for you to teach better. Because honestly, in this channel, our goal is to help you teach better, become a better teacher, so that you'll be able to help our learners, the future generation of this country. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in our next video.